Big Russian snub to Zelensky amid Trump's peace efforts. Putin rejects Zelensky's Donbas referendum call. Kremlin taunts Zelensky on holding polls in Ukraine.
It's quite possible he'll view this as an opportunity to simply secure a temporary ceasefire, and that's all.
Russia has rejected Vladimir Zelensky's proposal to hold a referendum on territorial concessions to Moscow. Vladimir Putin's presidential aide, Yuri Ushakov, called Donbas as a sovereign Russian territory, adding that Moscow will sooner or later establish control over parts of the region still occupied by Kyiv. Zelensky had suggested that Ukrainians could vote in a referendum or election on the Donbas issue. Whatever happens, this is Russian territory, and it will be under the control of our administrations sooner or later. Putin's aide claimed that Zelensky had so far opposed the withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from the region, despite this being among the U.S. proposals for peace. I think what happens afterward can be discussed later, because it is quite possible that there will be no regular troops there, neither Russian nor Ukrainian, he told the Russian Daily. Zelensky, who has rejected accusations of using the ongoing war as an excuse to cling to power, said he was ready to hold elections.
We are ready to work with President Trump in any format, and if President Trump is speaking more about elections in Ukraine, I want to say this very openly. We can try to hold elections. Ukraine is not hiding from democracy, but to make elections possible, there must be a security component, and America can help with this the most. If there is a need for elections now, there must be a ceasefire at least during election process and during voting, and this is something that must be discussed. And honestly, we think here in Ukraine that America should speak to the Russian side about this.
Zelensky has resisted pressure from Donald Trump, who has consistently flip-flopped on his stand on war ever since being re-elected to the Oval Office.
I thought that we were very close with Russia to having a deal. I thought we were very close with Ukraine to having a deal. In fact, other than President Zelensky, his people loved the concept of the deal. You know, we threw something out.
This is the four-part deal.
Well, there's 4 or 5 different parts. It's, you know, a little bit complicated because you're cutting up land in a certain way. It's not the easiest thing. It's sort of like a complex real estate deal times 1,000, right? But it's a deal that would have stopped the killing of thousands of lives every month, thousands and thousands of lives, mostly soldiers, but as you know, there's some bombs being dropped.
Earlier, the White House said that Trump was extremely frustrated with the lack of progress on Ukraine peace efforts, adding that Washington could send representatives this weekend.
The president is extremely frustrated with both sides of this war, and he's sick of meetings just for the sake of meeting. He doesn't want any more talk. He wants action. He wants this war to come to an end. And the administration has spent more than 30 hours, just in the past couple of weeks, meeting with the Russians and the Ukrainians and the Europeans and speaking with them as well. So we'll see about the meetings this weekend, and stay tuned.
A major sticking point in Trump's Ukraine peace proposal is the suggestion that Kyiv must give up control of the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine to Russia. Ukraine and its European allies have firmly resisted the idea of handing over territory.
Es gibt einen Vorschlag, den zu dem Zeitpunkt, wo wir telefoniert haben, noch nicht kannte, weil noch nicht an die Amerikaner übersandt worden war. Das haben wir dann gestern am späten Nachmittag gemacht. Es geht hier vor allem um die Frage, welche territorialen Zugeständnisse die Ukraine bereit ist zu machen. Das ist aber eine Frage, die vor allem der ukrainische Präsident und das ukrainische Volk beantworten müssen. Das haben wir Präsident Trump auch verdeutlicht.
American negotiators have put forward the possibility of a free economic zone in the Donbas, with the Russians terming it a demilitarized zone, according to Zelensky. On the other hand, Russian President Vladimir Putin told military leaders that Russian armed forces are fully holding the strategic initiative on the battlefield. Russian troops have taken the city of Seversk in the Donetsk region of eastern Ukraine, where fighting has been fierce in recent months, Lieutenant General Sergei Medvedev told the president.